Let's talk about the Balenciaga scandal because it keeps getting worse.
So gross.
It's disgusting. And like, it's been kind of a meme for the past like year. I've been like, well, I mean, the world probably is run by satanic cult of pedos. And it's like, ha ha ha, how silly. And then this keeps happening. And keeps happening. It keeps happening. And it's like, right, okay. I mean, it was a meme, but they kind of seem to bring it to life. I don't like it.
It's the baby, the baby soaked in kind of red paint and being carried that looks like blood. I mean, look, it could be that they think it's really edgy.
Oh, yeah.
It could be that, but then it's a bit gross, however you look at it. And I'm surprised that it's not as quickly a death as Ratner, right? I would have thought that when this came out, everyone would say, I don't want to stock it, I don't want to sell it. But I was in a store yesterday and there was absolutely loads of stuff by this brand.
Really?
So yeah, apparently it's not yet a terrible thing to put bondage gear on teddies and give it to kids.
And I as we go through this, you'll find out that is by far the least of it.
Oh, come on, let's have a look.
Yes, it's going to be awful. But before we begin, if you want to support us, go over to lotus.com, sign up, and listen to this book club I did with author Alexander Adams, who is an artist working in the art world. And oh yes, it's as bad as you might think. I won't spoil any of it though, but it is genuinely awful. Anyway, let's begin. So just as you were saying, this scandal kicked off because, of course, one of the adverts had a teddy bear in leather bondage gear being held by a child. Strange decision.
My daughter got selected to do an advert, right, quite a long time ago. It was for a terrible toy anyway. And when we got there, she was about 4, and there were 2 very competitive. Oh, my daughter's been doing it since she was 3 months, and oh, my daughter did this, and after about. My daughter was supposed to put this car on this thing and then move it like this. And the director wanted it like that, like her arm in a specific sort of movement. And he didn't explain it very well. And he told her 3 times. And the 3rd time he's a little bit sharp. And I just said, you talk to her like that again and we'll just go home. And so he didn't. And it was fine. And we never did it again. It was a horrible experience. But some parents were there, right? Watching their kids have a bondage teddy bear. As well as all the other adults in the room, the people that signed it off, the people who thought it was a good idea, the people that got there were a lot of people that could have said at one point, really?
Many adults were present, presumably including the parents.
Yeah.
And none of them were like, yeah, this is wrong.
I know there's been other there's been other dolls that you dipped in something and their bondage gear was revealed.
It's the whole thing is just terrible, right? But I think one of the things that I've noticed is these are very carefully laid out sets that they take the pictures of. And so it's interesting what they choose to put in the background because there is some sort of signaling that goes on.
Oh.
One of a different ad featured an office, a woman just in an office with her legs up on the table. But in the background, there was a reference to a Supreme Court case on child porn that had been like printed out and propped up.
What?
Right. This was the Supreme Court case called United States versus Williams. For an ad showcasing a $3,000 purse, and that ruling upheld the constitutionality of convicting people for spreading child porn. It wasn't free speech. That's the picture. And so it's just like, why would that be in the background?
And who's placed it there? So is it the photographer?
It's the set designer. They have set designers for this because these are works of art as far as they're concerned. And isn't that just really weird? It's really weird, And then you look at who Michael Borman is, and like all of these people who are like artists who take very strange and perverse pictures of things all the time. It's their entire careers, and I'm not saying I know anything about any of this really. It's just why.
Yeah, when something's strategically placed and is not accidental, then there's clearly a reason.
Yes, there's clearly a reason. I mean, you don't accidentally print out the first page of the 2008 Supreme Court decision that banned child porn.
Because raping kids is so edgy.
Yeah. Well, I think to these people, actually, it is.
It probably is.
And yeah, it's and as parents, obviously, this is disgusting. What are you doing?
I feel murderous, to be fair.
I wish I'd prepared the segment about the death penalty, actually. It would have been good to get your opinion on it.
I'd do it with my bare hands.
Yeah. Well,
if anyone came near my kids.
In 2021, 56% of people agreed with you in Britain. Most people agree with the death penalty. For some reason, the politicians don't. Anyway, moving on. So this caused a lot of trouble because they were like, oh, people were really upset by this. But interestingly, this same brand cut their ties with Kanye West after he wore a White Lives Matter t-shirt. So saying White Lives Matter, you're gone. But putting up, weird bondage things with kids, that's acceptable.
Oh.
But anyway, before we move on to this, John, they gave the first apology on the 24th of November. We sincerely apologise for any offence our holiday campaign may have caused. Oh, that's good. It's a holiday campaign. It's just a Christmas campaign, isn't it? Our plush bear bags should not have been featured with children in this campaign, but they were. And it went through a big process of decision-making to get from the concept to the product.
Of course.
No one at that point, no one thought that was wrong.
Is that a bag they sell? Is it the bear bag?
Yes.
Oh.
It's always some bear and bondage gear or something ridiculous like that. I don't follow all this stuff, so I don't really know. But anyway, the second apology came 4 days later when they were like, well, it was never our intent to include this in our narrative. It's like, what narrative did you think you were creating?
It makes it so different now that I know that it's their product because they're advertising their. I thought it was just incidental that the kids, they were advertising something else or even kids wear. But if that's how do we sell our bags? I know, let's get some kids. That's difficult to explain beyond we want to put kids around this sexual crap.
Balenciaga says that it takes responsibility for the series of grievous errors.
Series
of grievous errors that led to this. It was only detected when there was a massive public outcry about the sexualization of children as well. Weird. But anyway, and they put out a third apology on the 2nd of December with the creative director responding, I want to personally apologize for the wrong artistic choice of concept. Just the wrong artistic. It's just a kid with a bondage bear. What's wrong with you? It's just the wrong choice of concept. Series of grievous errors.
God. It's very, it's just pushing it, isn't it? It's just pushing this out as quickly as they can. And obviously they've been doing lots of subtle things, I would think, for years that we've all kind of not noticed. And now everyone's going to be pouring through everything they've ever done. And
well, let's get into that.
Yes.
So people have been finding weird, creepy symbolism in other photos. I've actually got one on here that I think you haven't got up here, John. But there was another one of a boy advertising something in a bedroom. But the thing is that what's in the bedroom, do they not have a photo at the top of the page on this one? No. Okay. Weird that they've talked about it, but they don't have the picture. But anyway, there's a boy with a drawing of the devil next to him, like a black cult hood or something in this video. And then you've got like a roll of tape on the floor that's the Balenciaga tape, but it has Bal spent with 2 A's on the roll of tape. And it's like, what sort of, like, this is the picture, right? And, it's like, what sort of, like, again, they have professionals who design these sets before the picture is taken. As you can see in the bottom left there, you can see the Balenciaga tape that's strewn around, but it's Bal with double A. It's like, okay, but that's going to get the internet conspiracy theorists going, well, that's talking about the Canaanite god of child sacrifice.
Oh, well, yeah, it is then. That's exactly what it is.
But what else is it going to be? Like, why have you spelt your own brand name wrong with a double A to dog whistle to Satan worshippers or something? Like, what are you doing?
Do you think, do you think they're genuinely into this, or do you think that they just, do you think they're childless people at just super, I'll let you carry on.
We'll keep going, shall we? So the next one is just, a guy at a fashion show, like one of the models at a fashion show holding a dead fake baby carried in a bloody towel in a bag. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what's the purpose of this?
It's so repulsive.
Yes. Like, you can see the blood stains and stuff. And it's so, what are you doing?
He doesn't look very comfortable either.
No. Like, why? Why do you have a fake baby with presumably fake blood stains?
Are the clothes particularly bad? Is that why they need this?
I have no idea.
No, me neither.
It's just disgusting. And so, anyway, you get people like Nicholas Desjardins, who is the set designer. And as you can see, like professional set designers, these sort of people who put the things in the background, right? But look at just the tenor. If you can scroll through some of these things, look at the tenor of the art they produce. And you think, right, okay, these are people who are living quite outside of the normal paradigm of a normal person. I mean, everything they show is debauchery or suffering, misery. Like it's nothing good and wholesome. Keep going, John, because that's supposed to say something, but I can't work out what it's saying. But like it's it's like hideous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so it's all this sort of weird, again, just perverse is the only way I can think of it. It's like nothing that I would want to be involved in, basically.
Yeah.
You've got other ones. A person called Lotta Volkova, some internet sleuth, did some digging. And I don't know how much of this we can actually show, but this is the babies covered in blood one. Yeah, she's the designer for that. And it's like, okay, this is fashion. Fashion? Are you selling me clothes? What are you selling me here?
Baby killing lifestyle.
Yeah.
that's what they're selling.
So a couple of chaps, brothers called Jake and Dinos Chapman, got dragged into this because they work in this arena and they got dragged into it. So brand ambassador Kim Kardashian was like, well, I have to rethink my position on this. And it's like, right, okay, you do that. But they, as Newsweek say, in their scrutiny of Balenciaga and entities associated with their brand, social media users posted images of the Chapman brothers' art pieces depicted children with genitalia in places of their noses and mouths, among other features on the website auction house Christie's. So Christie's is owned by Group Artemis, which is part of a holding company, and all of these things are basically owned. So the guy who owns that is the chairman of Kering, or the CEO of Kering, which is a company that owns Balenciaga. So the auction company Christie's is owned by the company that owns Balenciaga, basically.
Oh.
And so all of these things are very sort of tightly knit at the top.
Well, I met some activists quite a long time ago who deal with the rape of children, like the wholesale rape of children. And they sort of seem to think that once you get on a certain echelon of society, that the final frontier is raping kids. And so they think it's really common in super elites.
The reason, there are a lot of people who think that. Actually, I don't know or anything. I'm not making any allegations.
No.
I'm just saying, why do you have all this weird child bondage torture stuff in your adverts?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm not about to name names.
No. But let's go on to Jake Chapman, because Jake Chapman, working with Christie's, has some interesting opinions. Like, he really doesn't seem to think highly of children, and it's, again, it's not a smoking gun or anything, but you start putting together these sorts of attitudes. He said, quotes, "It's a total waste of time taking children to art galleries because children are not human yet."
Oh, he sounds nice.
Yeah. What a way of looking at it.
Well, I'm not asking him to babysit.
Well, no.
That's for sure.
No. But, I mean, as a parent, I can tell you children are definitely human.
Yeah, well, I just don't get people that don't like children. I've met quite a lot of women who say, oh, I don't like children. And one woman said it and she loved dogs. And I was like, I hate dogs. Yeah. And she said, I can't believe you would. I said, you've just literally told me I've got 4 kids that you don't like children. What a stupid thing to say. You were a child.
My youngest son was 2 yesterday, and I got a video of him on his granddad's shoulders bouncing around with just the biggest grin. He's he's never done that. He wouldn't let me put him on my shoulders. But for some reason, he let it with my granddad. My granddad's like running around bouncing, and he's just giggling and laughing. And I was watching that video again last night, just thinking, someone who hates children has something deeply wrong with them.
Yeah, I agree.
Deeply wrong with them. There's a profound innocence in children that is just, it can't be captured anywhere else. It should be preserved where possible.
I think with women, it's often that it's like thou doth protest too much, for women that haven't had children, that don't like children. I sort of think, I wonder if that's just your
maybe they're
mechanism.
Closing off their hearts or something, to protect themselves from feeling longing.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. Actually, if you're watching on YouTube, this is probably where we're going to have to stop because this gets a bit vile, actually. So if you want to watch the rest of this, you can watch it on lotus.com.
Thanks for watching that segment from the podcast Lotus Eaters. I hope you're all having a very jolly time. If you're interested in finding more, you can subscribe to our website, lotuseaters.com, for £5 a month and find all of our premium content available for you there, including this recent video that Connor and I did on the politics of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, because We watched it and suffered, so you didn't have to. If you'd like to find more from what's going on with Connor, you can follow him over at Getter at Con_Tomlinson. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.